What is up, everybody? We are back in the studio for the first time in I think 4 weeks now. I don't know. I was in Florida, then I've been doing videos outside, and I was gone for just a couple of weeks, but we are back in the studio live, and we got a couple of things to go over with crypto. Let me know if the mic is okay, how to set everything back off, dust things off, because I have not been here in a while. But we have a lot to go over with crypto with regards to the crypto market, mass adoption, new reports with regards to global adoption with crypto. We're going to go over that. We're also going to go over some very exciting things going on with Robinhood, because they just reported their Q2 earnings, and there's some interesting things in there about crypto wallets, and a couple of other things. And at the end, we're going to talk a little bit about regulators, what is going on there. But for the most part right now, things are looking very optimistic. A couple of positive catalysts going on with crypto, and ultimately, it's like game over for any of the regulators, any of the doubters for crypto, because things are looking really good in terms of fundamentals, in terms of institutional investors, in terms of regulators even, and things are looking really good. So if you guys enjoy this sort of content, well then please be sure to like the video down below, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notifications, and let's get right into it. So let's pull up this market cap first. We're going to go over a couple things going on with the general market. Right now we're at about a $1.92 trillion market cap. We dropped down just a little bit from that $2 trillion market cap we had surpassed the other day. Interesting thing here, though, is that right now we're seeing that Cardano has been driving the gains in the market. We can see that Cardano is up 16% over the last 7 days, and this is the crypto that is up the most, really, out of the top 5. When we start looking at the top 10, we start seeing that Solana has broken into the top 10. We've talked about this a couple of times in the videos outside. Solana is up nearly 70% in the last 7 days. Same with XRP. XRP is doing extremely well also, but for the most part, the big movers that we have seen have been Cardano because of this upcoming Alonzo upgrade, which is going to take place on September 12th, 2021, and everything else going on with Solana, a couple of investments they've gotten recently. So those have been driving a lot of the gains in the market. And we've been seeing that with institutional investors as well. Earlier, we talked about how institutional investors, last week, we had seen outflows from Bitcoin and Ethereum in investment products from institutional investors. But we saw inflows into things like Cardano, Polkadot, Solana, and some of the other smaller altcoins from institutional investors. So this is a sign that there's a lot of optimism in the market. People and institutional investors are very bullish on where things are going, because when people get scared, they invest in Bitcoin and maybe a little bit of Ethereum. But when people are very optimistic, they think things are going to go higher, that's when they start taking a little bit more risk with some of the smaller altcoins. Anything that's not Bitcoin or even Ethereum, those are considered a much higher risk. But anyways, let's take a look at what's going on with this new report that just came out with regards to global crypto adoption, because it's very interesting, and we had to do the video live because I wanted you guys to see the chart, what exactly is going on here. It shows a map of the entire world. So let's pull that up right now. And right now, when we look at this map, which shows cryptocurrency adoption across the entire globe, we have seen that there's been an increase of over 880% in global crypto adoption over the last year. Countries that have been leading the way, which are pretty interesting actually, are Vietnam, India, and Pakistan. They are the countries that are actually leading the way, and a lot of people probably would have thought this would have been like the US, or maybe even El Salvador, or some just other country other than the 3 that are at the top of the list. When we look at this list, we can see right here, it's on a scale from 0 to 1, 1 being the most the countries that have adopted crypto the most. And what we can see on this crypto adoption index, Vietnam is at 1.0. It's the highest. It's ranked number 1. We're seeing India at 0.37, Pakistan at 0.36, Ukraine at 0.29. And then the interesting thing here is that US had dropped in ranking. Previously, it was ranked number 6. Now it is ranked number 8. So this is just a little interesting to see that I would have expected to see global crypto adoption take place the most in the US. I would have expected China to be all the way at really last basically out of the 154 countries they did because of the crypto bans that have taken place in China for trading activities, crypto bans that have taken place with regards to Bitcoin miners. I would have expected China to be a lot lower on the list, but China is still in that top 15 position. Either way, though, this is great because in this survey, in this study, actually, they did on 154 countries, and they found that across the world, we have seen a nearly 900% increase in global crypto adoption. And to me, this shows us that even though we're still only at a $2 trillion market cap, which isn't so high, we are starting to see things pick up dramatically. In the last year, almost 10x in terms of crypto adoption across the world. And me personally, this is a great sign because in the US, we only see that about 6% of people in the US own crypto. About a quarter of US investors own crypto. So that shows us how much upside we still have. That there is so many more people, even just in the US, that have never invested in crypto, that don't even know what it is, to be honest. And this just shows us that we have a good start, but there is a lot more upside to come with regards to retail investors and even institutional investors as well. Because for the most part, institutions we see right now, MicroStrategy, Tesla, ARK Invest, and Square, and just a handful of other companies invest in crypto. For the most part, we don't see wide adoption, mass adoption from institutional investors just yet, but I think that will change very soon when we start seeing Bitcoin, Ethereum ETFs, and a couple of other regulations come out. I think that's going to encourage a lot of institutional investors to get involved. Either way, though, things are looking great on the adoption side of things. We've seen massive increase, but still, we have a long way to go with still very low percentages in the US, in Europe, and just in terms of institutional investors as well. Next up, I want to go over a little bit what's going on with Robinhood, because just the other day, Robinhood reported their Q2 earnings, and a lot of people we're expecting to hear about crypto wallets. What is going on with crypto wallets? Are they going to be coming out with new cryptocurrencies? Because one of the things that I think of with regards to crypto is that the only way we're going to continue to see the market grow and grow exponentially is going to be when it is extremely easy for people to buy crypto, for people to spend it at stores, and Robinhood plays a big role in this. Robinhood has about a little over 20 million users, and the thing that even whether you like Robinhood, you don't like them, either way, they do advertise themselves as being a beginning investor platform. It's not intimidating. It's very simple, very easy to use. And the bottom line is, whether you like them or you don't, their users have been growing over 100% year over year. Last year, this time, they had about 6 million users. Now they have over 20 million. And the thing about that is that people are not going to go out of their way to download Binance and Robinhood and Charles Schwab. And most people are not going to have 5 trading accounts or 6. People are going to stay with 1, maybe 2. So the thing about Robinhood, starting with this Q2 earnings report, we've been looking to see them talk about adding more cryptocurrencies, because when they do that, it's going to make it easier for people to invest. And also with regards to crypto wallets, unfortunately, even though Robinhood, their revenues doubled for the second quarter, even though things look good for the second quarter in terms of cryptocurrency and their revenue from, let's say, meme coins like Dogecoin, the thing that is a little bit concerning is we didn't hear anything about crypto wallets. They had said that those were going to get out as soon as possible, but now what we're seeing is that we haven't had a specific timeline on it just yet. And this is a bit concerning because a lot of people I know, a lot of people in the comments have said, one of the biggest issues with Robinhood and crypto is that you can't just sell your crypto, move it to, let's say, Coinbase, because then you have to pay taxes. And if you own crypto on Robinhood, you can't spend it at stores because you don't have a wallet address. So people who have crypto on Robinhood are really just locked and stuck. They're in a hard position. And people like Mark Cuban and Elon Musk have specifically come out and said that when Robinhood comes out with crypto wallets, it's going to make it a lot easier. It's going to increase the price of Dogecoin. It's going to increase the price of most cryptos, because then people are actually going to be able to use the crypto they have on Robinhood. Unfortunately, we did not see anything with regards to crypto wallets in this announcement in their Q2 earnings call. All we did see is that Robinhood said Dogecoin did account for about 62% of the crypto revenue for the company in Q2. And they're expecting this to drop pretty significantly in the third quarter. They said all around trading has been a lot slower in the third quarter of this year. But ultimately, the two things we were looking for from Robinhood with regards to crypto wallets and with regards to adding new coins, we did not hear much about that yet. Unfortunately, I'm expecting we will hear it, within the next couple of months. But they originally had said they were going to get these features out as soon as possible. Looks like they're experiencing a couple of delays. Next up, I want to talk a little bit about what is going on with Visa, because Visa has been making major moves lately with regards to linking Visa cards to certain crypto exchanges, whether we're talking about crypto.com, whether we're talking about FTX. Visa has been going out of their way to have a number of partnerships, and ultimately, this is very good for crypto because what we see, like we said before, is the only way we're going to continue to see crypto grow exponentially and, grow at a faster rate. The market cap increase for the entire crypto market, see prices continue to rise, is when it becomes easier for people to own crypto and easier for people to spend it. One way that this is happening is with Visa, because Visa, they have 54 Bitcoin linked cards already. They have partnerships with FTX, which is a major crypto exchange. They have partnerships with BlockFi. They have partnerships with crypto.com. They have partnerships with Zengo, Coinbase, Bitpanda, and so many other platforms. In my opinion, this report that recently came out from Forbes, it shows us that payment processing companies ultimately are all in on crypto. Whether they like it or they don't like it or whatever's going on, they're already going out of their way to secure dozens of partnerships to make sure that people can pay with whatever they want. And whether people want to pay with, let's say at a store, you want to pay with cash, you want to pay with card, like credit or debit card, you want to pay with crypto, you want to pay with any currency, credit card companies, payment processing companies want to do this, and it's exciting to see that Visa has come out with dozens of partnerships in the last couple of weeks. They have said that they see this as a massive opportunity for to help crypto platforms grow, and as they continue to grow, they want to be able to give people access to actually spending their crypto on a Visa linked, whether it's a debit card or credit card. So we'll continue to see how this develops. Either way though, Visa coming out with new partnerships basically every couple of weeks is great for crypto because it makes crypto more accessible, makes it easier for people to actually spend their crypto at places, and then it ensures that regular everyday retailers, restaurants, businesses have the ability to actually accept crypto as well. Moving on, another story I want to go over is what is going on with the second largest U.S. mortgage lender. We've seen a lot going on with crypto and real estate over the last couple of years. We've seen a couple of reports of people buying apartments in Miami with crypto or people buying houses with crypto. But the interesting thing is that now the second largest U.S. mortgage lender officially announced just the other day that they're going to be accepting crypto payments later this year. They announced this in their Q2 earnings report, and the second largest U.S. mortgage lender is called United Wholesale Mortgage, and they are only behind what's the company? They are only behind Quicken Loans in terms of total revenue. In Q1, in 2020, United Wholesale Mortgage, they originated 560,000 loans, a little over 560,000 loans worth about $183 billion. Quicken Loans was the only one that is bigger than them, and Quicken Loans originated about 1.1 million loans worth $314 billion. And the interesting thing about this is that we've already seen payments back since 2014 for real estate and crypto. But now it's not like people are just buying it outright. Now we're seeing companies offer mortgages and packages where people don't have to buy real estate outright using crypto. And this is very exciting. We had seen previously the last couple of months that a Canadian-based company called Matrix Mortgage Global, they had come out, and they're a mortgage brokerage firm. They had come out and started to accept Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash. We have seen that the Spanish political party, the People's Party, introduced a bill earlier in the year that will enable property owners to pay mortgages with crypto. But now we're starting to see in the US that they're doing the same thing. Second largest mortgage brokerage in the US is allowing people to pay with Bitcoin. They said they're going to start off with Bitcoin, but they're evaluating other cryptos as well. They said that we are going to walk before we run, but at the same time, we are definitely a leader in technology and innovation. We're always trying to be the best and the leader in everything we do. So they're going to start off with Bitcoin. They said they're going to look into Ethereum, look into a couple of other altcoins down the road, but at first, they're going to start off with only Bitcoin, and they're hoping this could be by the end of the year. So if anyone's looking to buy a house, you have crypto. You don't have to buy it outright anymore. You can go ahead, get a mortgage, pay with Bitcoin, and hopefully by the end of the year, potentially Ethereum, Cardano, maybe Dogecoin, and a couple of other cryptos, whichever ones they end up adding. Another story I want to go over is what is going on with the infrastructure bill, because we have been seeing a lot of talks from regulators in the US about crypto in particular, because this infrastructure bill sort of threw crypto in at the last minute as a tax provision that would help to raise billions of dollars, about $30 billion to actually pay for the infrastructure bill. So what we have seen is that a new report just came out earlier today that the crypto language in this infrastructure bill, someone called it a political shell game, because ultimately what a couple of people are saying is that senators and people in the House, like representatives, they know that even if this crypto tax provision passes in the infrastructure bill, that ultimately it is going to be impossible, like literally impossible, for some of these companies to actually implement what is in the bill. Because, for example, Bitcoin miners, Bitcoin's like crypto software developers, they don't have the necessary systems in place. And because of the decentralized nature of crypto, it is physically impossible for them to track some of the information the government is going to be requesting. So ultimately, what this report goes on to talk about, I'll link it down below, but what the report goes on to talk about is that ultimately, like senators and the US government is just throwing in this crypto tax provision to say, okay, this is how we're going to help pay for this, $1 trillion infrastructure bill. We're going to tax crypto because people, a lot of people don't get too concerned about this. The general financial system, they don't want to have taxes implemented on, for example, like changes in long-term or short-term capital gains taxes. But if you're just saying, oh, we're going to tax crypto, it's like an easy way out for people in the government to say, we're going to generate tax revenue. We're not going to change anything with regards to the capital gains tax rate. We're not going to change anything with regards to corporate tax rates. We're just going to tax crypto instead. And when people say, oh, crypto, a lot of people in the traditional financial world they just don't care about it. They're like, okay, nothing's going to happen with corporate taxes. Nothing's going to happen with capital gains. We're just going to generate more money from crypto. So it's just like an easy out for them. But the bottom line is they're probably not going to generate as much revenue as they're expecting, even if this goes through, because of the issues with the decentralization of crypto. It makes it nearly impossible for like crypto miners, crypto software developers, and a couple of other companies to actually track the necessary information that the government is requesting. If you guys are just joining us, make sure to like the stream. Let's see if we get the video up to 200 likes. We'll see if we get it there to start off, and let's keep the ball rolling. So I want to go over something going on with the Federal Reserve. I talked about this just the other day in just a short, quick little video, but I want to go into a little more detail, pull up a couple of charts here because a lot of you guys were asking about it in the comments of the video I did. So if you guys have already seen this, we're going to go into a little more detail, show a couple of key charts. But the Federal Reserve Bank president in Minneapolis named Neil Kashkari, he came out and spoke the other day at the Pacific Northwest Economic Regional Annual Summit in Big Sky, Montana. And what he said is he basically just wrecked crypto. He said crypto is 95% fraud, hype, noise, confusion. He used to be optimistic about crypto, he said 5 or 6 years ago, but now he doesn't really see the benefits of it. He doesn't see the problems it's solving, and he doesn't really like it anymore. He says, I've not seen any use case for crypto other than funding illicit activities like drugs and prostitution. So we talked about this quickly the other day in a video, but I want to go over something because a couple of things we didn't mention. The first is that he had commented a lot about fraud and scams, because one of the biggest concerns among the Federal Reserve, among the SEC, among regulators in general, is with regards to, first of all, illicit activities and fraud in crypto, because that has been one of the biggest concerns among all regulators in the US with regards to crypto. And essentially what he said is that he sees no use cases for crypto other than illicit activities. And people just create coins to end up scamming other people out of coins. And I think this is a huge miss. I think this is a huge miss that someone who is the president of the Minneapolis Federal Reserve, to say that there are no use cases for crypto that he has really seen, that it hasn't really done anything other than illicit activities. I think that's a big miss, because ultimately, like we've spoken about, crypto is great for the unbanked population, people who don't have access to bank accounts. It makes it so anyone could have, store their money digitally. It also makes it so you could send money across payments, across borders with very little transactions, any time of the day, instantly. With the traditional banking system, you can't do that. You need to have wire transfers. Both people need to have bank accounts. If the banks aren't open, if you're not during business hours, it can't work. That's another thing. Also, we see digital property with NFTs and other digital assets that are now starting to come up. Specifically, the things that most people would easily be able. Things that are most common right now are NFTs. But so there are so many use cases of it that he seemed to just glaze over. And I think they did this because ultimately, when we're talking about regulators in the US, the Federal Reserve, crypto is not great for them. They are going to want to create their own central bank digital currency, but they ultimately don't want crypto to succeed. So whenever we see a report come out like this, I think it's important to keep in mind that he is biased. Someone like him is very biased because he is the president of the Minneapolis Federal Reserve. His job is all around the US dollar, US currency. Essentially, if crypto becomes a currency, which it's starting to, but whether you think it will or not, ultimately it is competition for the US dollar. So for someone like him, it's just important to realize that a report like this, you need to just understand that the person who they're talking about doesn't really have any reason to like crypto, and he has all the incentive to shoot it down and not really say it's great. There's no incentive for him to say that. There is incentive for him to say that crypto is fraud, it's confusion, it's hype, it's noise, which is exactly what he said. So just make sure you keep that in mind when you're reading a report like that. Make sure you always look at who are they talking about and who the report is about, who wrote the report. It's always good to see that. Even when I'm talking, make sure you know what I'm saying is actually true. I mean, I always link articles down below, but it's always important to check who you're listening to, check what articles you're reading, because a lot of time these things are biased. Next up, I want to go over another thing going on with we'll go over what is going on with Ethereum. So again, I spoke about this quickly earlier, but some of you guys had asked to see the charts. So I want to show you guys the charts of what is going on with Ethereum. So right now, what we're seeing with Ethereum is a liquidity crisis. We spoke about this briefly in the video earlier. I was walking in the park, but right now there is something called a sell side liquidity crisis taking place with Ethereum. We're seeing a lot of people take their Bitcoin, take their Ethereum off of exchanges, and we're starting to see that there's a lot of demand. People are wanting to buy, for example, Ethereum, but the problem is there's not as much available right now on exchanges as there previously was. So when we look over the last couple of weeks, we can see that the supply of Ethereum has been consistently decreasing. Back in May, the supply of Ethereum held on exchanges was 21.43 million ETH. Now, as of this week, we see that there's only 19.25 million Ethereum on exchanges. So that's a pretty consistent decrease. And we start looking at this chart right here, you could see as well that the reserves, the amount that's being held has been consistently decreasing as the price has been increasing. So what we're seeing is that people are buying more Ethereum. They're taking it off of exchanges, moving it into cold storage, and the price is going up. So that makes sense. But the thing is many people are saying because of this, couple like the CEO of Crypto Quant, which is an on-chain analytics service, on-chain analytics company, he came out and says that he thinks that this liquidity crisis is going to continue to get worse, and we're going to continue to keep seeing the Ethereum held on exchanges decrease. And as a result of this, when we start to see institutional investors get more involved, when we start to see a bit, another bull market take place with crypto, because right now we're in a bit of a consolidation period. But once we start to see that take place, he thinks we're going to see Ethereum's price skyrocket, do extremely well, and be able to take over Bitcoin in terms of market cap, because Ethereum has all these different use cases, NFTs, smart contracts, decentralized finance applications. It is more energy efficient than Bitcoin. And he says because of what we're seeing with the supply decreasing consistently on exchanges with Ethereum, he thinks we'll see Ethereum's price rise significantly faster than Bitcoin and be able to overtake Bitcoin in terms of market cap potentially by the end of this year, which would put Ethereum's price right around, if we do it based on levels right now, it would put Ethereum's price well over $7,500 per coin, because it would have to more than double where it is right now. Because right now, Ethereum's market cap is right around $354 billion. Bitcoin's market cap right around $842 billion. So that's what's going on with Ethereum. And we're seeing this for the most part happen with Bitcoin as well. Right now, we're seeing in terms of institutional investors, a lot of them are taking their Bitcoin off exchanges because people are just bullish on crypto in general right now. If we look at the sentiment across the entire market, even though we've been seeing a bit of consolidation, a lot of people are taking their crypto off exchanges, have no plans of selling it anytime soon. In addition to this, sort of in the same vein of what we're talking about with regards to Bitcoin and Ethereum on exchanges, we have seen over the last couple of days that Bitcoin miners are keeping more Bitcoin in their reserve than we have seen over the last couple of months. Ever since we saw about an all-time high back on May 9th of Bitcoin miners keeping Bitcoin in their reserves. Back on May 9th, we saw an all-time high for how much Bitcoin miners were keeping in their reserves. Now we're seeing the same exact thing happen, where they're keeping a lot of Bitcoin in their reserves, which means they have no plan of selling Bitcoin anytime soon. What they're saying is, look, and these are the Bitcoin miners. These are the people who are like the most in tune with what is going on in the market, and it's important to take a look at what they are actually doing. And so it's interesting to me when we see that Bitcoin miners are having and keeping more Bitcoin in their reserves, deciding not to sell it. And that shows me that they're just unimpressed by what has been going on in the market. They're like, we think there's a lot more upside with the trends, with the sentiment in the market. We think there's a lot more upside, so we don't want to sell our current positions. We want to keep it in our reserves, and maybe in a couple of months, maybe, when, let's say, later in the year, if we reach the top of the market and what they think is the top, then they'll sell it. But right now, they don't see that happening. They don't see us peaking anytime soon. They see it that we'll reach new all-time highs later in the year. Thank you guys for joining us. We're going to look at the chat at the end. I just have a couple more stories I do want to go over, because some things we spoke about, and I want to show you the charts, and other things I just want to go into a little more detailed things that we haven't mentioned that I don't do a full video on because I think it's better to include it in like a longer video like this. Two more things I really want to go over. First, we're going to go over what's going on with Bank of America, and I'm talking about Coinbase, where they see Coinbase, because Coinbase has had big goals to become like the Amazon of crypto. And then after that, I want to talk a little bit about Solana, because Solana has been the biggest gainer really in all of crypto over the last couple of days. It's up over 70% in the last 7 days. So we're going to go over both of those. First thing is what is going on. Let's pull this up right here. Bank of America. Bank of America came out the other day, and they spoke specifically about Coinbase. And they gave Coinbase a neutral rating of $273 per share. But the interesting thing about this is that the thing that I found most interesting is Bank of America says that Coinbase is still in its very early stages of development, and they have a long way to go before becoming the Amazon of crypto assets. Previously, Coinbase has come out and said that their goal was to make a crypto app store. So that if anything related to crypto, the go-to place would be Coinbase. That is what Coinbase's goal is. They want to have a cryptocurrency app store. They want to be the go-to application for anything crypto related. Bank of America says they still have a long way to go. And the interesting thing about this is, in addition to Bank of America, what I found the most interesting is that ARK Invest, Cathie Wood, has actually been selling off part of their positions in Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, part of their positions in Coinbase. Let me see if I can pull that up for you guys. But over the last couple of days, I use this thing called Lucid Tracking. Here we go. And what we can see is that over the last couple of days, we have seen Cathie Wood and ARK Invest sell off a little bit of GBTC, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Not much. The most they've ever held is right around 9,040,000 shares. Right now, they own 8.7 million shares, but they have sold off quite a good amount. In addition to this, with Coinbase, we're seeing that ARK Invest sold off a little bit of Coinbase as well. So it's not important that they're selling off, or that Cathie Wood and ARK Invest aren't bullish on crypto anymore. They still are, but it's just interesting to see that we're seeing shifts. Maybe they're preparing to start invest in, let's say, Ethereum or some of the smaller altcoins. Maybe they're preparing to invest in a Bitcoin or Ethereum ETF. I don't know exactly. There's no way to know exactly what Cathie Wood and ARK Invest are going to do, but it's just interesting to see that people, like me personally, I'm bullish on Coinbase. I own Coinbase stock. I'm going to continue to own it long term. It's not anything that I'm going to sell. Most investments I make, I don't have any plans of selling anytime soon. But I do think that even though Bank of America says that Coinbase has a long way to go before becoming the Amazon of crypto assets, I think that if any company is going to be the Amazon of crypto, like the biggest crypto company by far, I think, in my opinion, it's a no-brainer that it's going to be Coinbase, because it is the easiest platform to use. Yes, they need to work on transaction fees, because transaction fees are way too high. They need to have like commission-free trading, which I think they will eventually. They need to work on a couple of things, but Coinbase is by far, in my opinion, the easiest platform to use for crypto. And it was the first publicly traded crypto exchange, to be traded in the US. I think they'll definitely be the winner. It's just a matter of what your time horizon is, how long you want to wait. And lastly, I want to go over quickly what is going on with Solana. Let me pull this up really quickly. So Solana's price is one of the only cryptos that has been reaching record highs over the last couple of days. We have seen Cardano do extremely well. It went up to like $2.20 per coin, but that's not a record high. We've seen Bitcoin do extremely well also, get it almost as high as, we had started to flirt with $50,000 per coin, but still that's not an all-time high. Same with Ethereum, but Solana is one of the only cryptos that has actually reached a new all-time high, surpassed $60 per coin, actually went as high as $74 per coin, and it has officially made it into the top 10 cryptocurrencies in terms of market cap. Right now, we're seeing that's right around $72 per coin, up 66% in the last week. The one thing that I like about Solana, the one thing that I've spoken about quite a bit with it, and we've covered Solana, I think for the last 5 months. I don't know. I think 5 months ago was the first video I did on it. But the one thing I like about Solana is that it is in the same arena as Ethereum, Cardano, EOS. All of these are decentralized finance cryptos that are all competing for, with smart contracts, NFTs, DeFi applications. They all have many of the same use cases. But the thing with Solana is that recently it's picked up a couple of big investments that are predicted to help propel it to be an Ethereum killer. Right now in the Solana ecosystem, you can see all these different applications that are already being built. This is something that Cardano is currently working on. Cardano does not have as many projects being built on the platform as they would like. But right now, you can see that there are over 300 different projects on using Solana. And there are a bunch of different categories, from DeFi to wallets to infrastructure to stable coins, gaming, and NFTs. There's a lot going on with Solana, and they did recently just get a major investment from one of the firms we talked about a while ago. But anyways, that's really going on with crypto right now. We are seeing it stay relatively flat. We have consolidated over the last couple of days. Ultimately, though, very optimistic about where crypto is, where it's going. A lot of exciting news that has come out with regards to whale accounts, with regards to crypto adoption, with regards to technical indicators. Everything is looking pretty good right now. We just got to be patient and give it some time, because nothing's going to happen overnight. And it's just going to take some time for more adoption to take place, more institutional investors to get involved, and I am not too worried at all. Let's take a look at a couple of the comments really quickly, and then I think we will head off. Someone saying, where should you put $7,000 if you had $7,000? Saddam Samanovic. $7,000 if you want to invest it solely in crypto. I mean, I like to, over the last couple of years, when I've been investing, let's say, more significant amounts of money, I've really learned that it is so important to diversify. Everyone wants to go all in on one coin to just make it big. But the thing is you have to be willing to risk it all. And me personally, I've learned that I am not willing to risk everything. So for me, if I had $7,000 to invest, first I wouldn't put it all in crypto, but let's say we're only talking about crypto, I would put at least 30% of it or 25% of it in Bitcoin, because that's going to be the most stable. That is the one that's never going away. That's where most institutional investors put their money. Other coins I would look at will also be Ethereum and Cardano. Me personally, right now, I have been actually putting more money into Cardano recently than I have into Ethereum. The other day, like yesterday, Cardano dropped below $2. It dropped to about $1.96. I added a little bit more. Of Cardano. It's not like a lot, but I just consistently dollar cost average. So I'd put, about 25 to 30% in Bitcoin. I'd put more money into Ethereum and Cardano. Those would be, me personally, those would make up big portions of the portfolio. And then you would start looking at a couple of other smaller altcoins. Like other ones that I own so I own Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, EOS, and I own Polkadot as well. So I don't own any very small. Oh, and Polygon. Polygon is a big holding I have as well. But other than those, I don't own really many other cryptos. I own I think 5: Polygon, Solana, Polkadot, Cardano, Ethereum, Bitcoin. 6. Those are the 6 I own. And it's not to say any others are bad, like XRP a lot of people really like, Dogecoin a lot of people really like. I just want to invest in what I understand, what I believe in, and projects I fully understand. I'm not just going to invest in something because someone tells me. Neither should you. Even if it's from me or any other YouTuber or any person you talk to, make sure to do your research on that. Another thing, let's look at another comment from what is up, Tomer? Christian, what is up? Looking for some comments. Let's see. Love Polygon. Yes, Rachel. I love Polygon too. Plan B predicts 100,000 for Bitcoin, then 288,000 before the end of the year. So yeah, Carlos, we've talked about this a little bit. There was a report that came out the other day. So Plan B, for anyone who is not familiar, I want to pull all of that up so you guys can actually see it. But Plan B is the person who helped Plan B Crypto. Plan B is the person who created the stock to flow model. It's a Twitter account. We'll pull up the Twitter account. But I also want to I want to pull up another article. Plan B Bitcoin prediction. So this is from Carlos. Carlos asked a question. Carlos said something about Bitcoin's price and what Plan B is predicting. A lot of people look at what Plan B says with regards to crypto because he's the one who created created the stock to flow model. But here we go. Okay. So right here is a new report that just came out a couple of weeks ago. We had spoken about it, but Plan B had said that $135,000 was the worst case scenario for Bitcoin in 2021. It said the best case scenario is 450,000, worst case scenario is 135,000. He based all of this on the stock to flow model. And this is something that he created, and it is a model that a lot of people who use technical analysis look at for crypto. And the interesting thing about this is that now we're back on track. Since we saw the rally from $30,000 per coin back up to right around $45,000 per coin, we are back on track following the trends, following this model. And based on his predictions, he's saying that we're going to see $135,000 be worst case scenario, best case scenario be $450,000. And just the interesting thing about him is that he was the person who, Plan B is the person who created the stock to flow model. So a lot of people really value what he says. Vincent, what is up, Vincent? ETH 2.0. Okay. Daniel Lazone. ETH 2.0. So what's going on right now with ETH 2.0 is it's expected to be rolled out in Q1, so the first quarter of 2022. Not guaranteed. There's no way to know 100% for sure. But what we do know is that, let's pull up this. But what we do know is that that is what it's scheduled for. Right now with Ethereum, the important things to keep in mind is that we saw the London hard fork take place in the first week of August. Everyone probably knows by now, but the big updates, there were 4 software upgrades that took place. The most important one was EIP 1559. Helped make Ethereum, help with the transaction fees, and make it more of a deflationary asset. You could track exactly how much Ethereum is being burned. And for those of you who aren't familiar, burned means just taken out of the total available supply. But Ethereum 2.0 is supposed to take place, be rolled out in the first quarter of 2022. And when this happens, if this happens on time, this would move Ethereum from proof of work to proof of stake, making Ethereum significantly more energy efficient. And it would make it so also they'd be able to process more transactions per second. And these are some of the biggest issues with Ethereum that experts are concerned about, that many people are concerned about, is one, scalability. Is it going to be able to scale up and be able to handle, hundreds of thousands of transactions per second, help become a global crypto? Is it going to be able to do that? And is it going to become more energy efficient? With ETH 2.0, it's going to solve both of those. And the other thing with Ethereum is that we also have these layer 2 solutions like Polygon. So one of the main reasons why I invest in Polygon is because it's like, if you're thinking Ethereum is going to do well, in my opinion, Ethereum is going to do well by itself, but also because of the fact that it has a couple of very successful layer 2 solutions. And layer 2 solutions, essentially, like Polygon, give people a lot of the same benefits to Ethereum, like using Ethereum's blockchain, using Ethereum's network, but you have lower transaction fees on Polygon. So it's like a brother or a sister. Think of it like Ethereum is the main highway. When the Ethereum, which is the main highway, gets congested, gas fees, transaction fees go up. Things can get slower. It's not going to be able to scale up as high. But then Polygon's just like little side roads where it's like if the main highway isn't, going so smooth, they have all these other layer 2 solutions like Polygon, which can help handle some of the demand. So that's what's going on with Ethereum. I'm very bullish on it. I'm not so sure. I wouldn't, say 100% for sure that we're going to see Ethereum 2.0 be rolled out in Q1 of 2022. We have seen them say in the past that we would have certain upgrades take place, and we've seen delays quite a few times. Ultimately, though, I don't think there's too much to worry about because even though Cardano is scheduled to roll out their Alonzo upgrade, it's going to make it really be a major competitor for Ethereum. The thing that Ethereum has that others that like Cardano doesn't is that there are significantly more, like if you think of NFTs, you think of Ethereum. If you think of a bunch of decentralized finance applications, developers, they go immediately to Ethereum. So right now, Ethereum has a significant head start to Cardano, to Solana, to EOS. And so even if ETH 2.0 takes a little bit longer than expected, I wouldn't be too worried about it because Ethereum has such a significant head start. But that's one of the many reasons why I invest in, not just Ethereum. I invest in Solana, I invest in Cardano, I invest in EOS, I invest in all of the competitors to Ethereum, the so-called Ethereum killers. I invest in all of them because ultimately anything can happen. I don't think Ethereum's going away, but it's just like saying, look, is there only going to be one type of laptop? No, there's so many different brands out there. Like, yes, Apple is huge, or even iPhones. It's like, is there only going to be one type of iPhone? One type of phone? No. Like, there are over 1 billion active iPhones, but there are still Samsungs. There are still so many other brands out there, and that's going to be the same with decentralized finance platforms. Let's say like Ethereum. There's going to be Ethereum. There's going to be Cardano. There's going to be other platforms, other projects out there that are successful. They're not going to be as big, but so that's why I bet on all of them. Let's look. Anything else in the chat? Mike Goats says, clickbait much? If you think this is clickbait, you didn't watch the beginning of the video. If you think this is clickbait, Mike, you didn't see the beginning because I specifically spoke about the title at the beginning of the video. But it's a 45-minute video. I'm not going to talk about the same thing for 45 minutes. Thoughts? Do you think Ethereum will surpass Bitcoin in terms of market cap? Daniel, yes, I do. I do think it will. I think it will. But the reason why I think it will surpass Bitcoin in terms of market cap is because Ethereum has so many more use cases and it's more energy efficient. So when institutional investors are putting money into different projects, different investments, they always are going to make sure that it's good for the environment. They have certain regulations and certain things that they have to keep in mind when investing according to their board and certain rules they've already set in place. So because Ethereum is more energy efficient, I think a lot of them are going to pick Ethereum over Bitcoin. Also simply because of the fact that Ethereum has a network effect where there are applications being built on it, and that's not really happening with Bitcoin. For those reasons, I think Ethereum definitely will surpass Bitcoin. It's just a matter of time before it does happen. Thanks, S. Walker. Appreciate that. Someone says, Joe Costello, what don't I like about Doge? It's not that I don't like Doge. It's just that if you're saying what has the most use cases and practical like applications already, Ethereum, Cardano, like you could say Solana, all the ones I invest in have practical use cases already. It doesn't mean Dogecoin or any other crypto isn't going to be good or be bigger, but you got to remember, like, Dogecoin has a really strong community, and that's great. That's going to be something that's going to help continue to push it, continue to move it forward. It has Elon Musk behind it, which you can't really even measure. That is huge. But the thing about Dogecoin versus, let's say, Ethereum or Cardano is it's just not as, there's not as much functionality behind Dogecoin. Ethereum and Cardano, you have NFTs, you have smart contracts. Like, if anyone thinks of NFTs right now, they immediately think that they need to own Ethereum. If you want to buy an NFT now, everyone's like, I need to buy Ethereum. Dogecoin is fun and the community is strong, but there's nothing that is, at least yet, that is that useful or that practical where people are like, I need to buy Dogecoin in order to be able to get something I want. For Ethereum, it's like, you need to buy Ethereum if you want to get an NFT. Jim Cramer came out and said that he wanted to buy an NFT, so he bought Ethereum. Mark Cuban had said that he wanted to buy an NFT a while back, so he had to buy Ethereum. And there's nothing like that with Dogecoin. Bitcoin is like institutional investors. That is their go-to. It's always going to, like, at least now, that's their go-to because it's the largest in terms of market cap. It is the safest. It's been around the longest. So again, it's not that I think Bitcoin's going to do better than Dogecoin, but I'm not someone who's going to want to take a huge risk on something. At least put a lot of money. Like, I have some money in Dogecoin for fun, but I like to make sure I stay diversified, not put too much money into one thing because I don't want to risk losing the money I have. Like, I don't need to 100x my money with and go all in into one thing because I don't want to lose it. So it's not that Dogecoin's bad. It has a strong community, and that can help really grow it, but it's not as practical in its use cases as some of the other cryptos out there. Daniel, I don't know what that means. Well, we are all George. I don't know what that means. But so yeah, that's really it. That's really it for the video. I think we're going to wrap it up here. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. We went live. Tomorrow we're going to do a couple videos just walking around. I'll figure out where I'm going to go. I'm going to try and do a different video in different places. I'm heading to New York City next week. And then after that, I think I'm going to Houston. So I'm going to be traveling a bit. I really like the outside videos, though, because I just feel like I'm talking with you rather than sitting at this table. Like, I like the setup. I spent a lot of money, like a lot of money on the computer and the camera and the mic. But when I go outside, I just film on my iPhone. So we'll probably do that because I like those. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please be sure to like, subscribe, check me out on Patreon if you want to see what I'm buying and selling. Follow me on public.com if you want to get free access to what I'm buying and selling. That's going to be mostly stocks. But I hope you guys have